Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Hot Wheels Starships Select A-Wing Fighter. This is number 19 in the set and released in 2023. This ship was first seen in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Now I know what you're saying, Dave, where's the box? For many of these ships, I already did unbox them. I don't keep my ships in the box, but now I do for the channel. So I do have about 9 more, and I know there's another wave coming. So we will sprinkle them in from time to time. So today will be a more traditional review that I do on my channel. So moving on, this is one of the ships that I was very eager to review with all of you. I was always impressed with the shape, the round angles, the mold, and even the paint. Sadly, there is no moving parts on this bad boy. I know in some media the laser cannons can actually rotate. This is more of a static model, and I'm okay with that. So enough of me yapping, let's get right into the review. For those who are new, what I like to do is go over all the major points, zoom in to show all of you at home all those major details. Then we're going to put on a stand, talk about the other dimensions, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, so just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the ship, and I will get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So, for the main points, right here, we have a maintenance hatch. Then on the sides, we have our torpedo launchers. Right here and here. Looking good. We have our canopy and cockpit. On the sides, we have our laser cannons. And then on top, we have our laser sights, which I think is a nice touch. Now, in some cannon material, these do rotate. These are static, so they're not going anywhere. Now, as we go to the back, we have our Event Horizon engines. I love saying that. They're recessed in, where the thrusters are. Very detailed, and I love the negative space here. Fantastic. I think these are one of my favorite parts on the whole ship. Pretty cool. On the underneath, we have 4 rivets holding it together. Peg port for the stand. And this section right here, it looks like a grate. That there is the hyperdrive system. So it's a plate that covers the hyperdrive engine, which is kind of cool. All in all, a very nicely detailed ship. So now let's get a closer look. You know, for a closer look, I wanted to do the front of the ship to the back, but I just want to take a look at these engines. So we'll start with the fins going up. And you can see how they have a nice curve. And it looks very flat. And then you get to this side where you have some nice line work and molding on the fin, which is really cool. On the bottom, the same thing. Very flat. Then we have some molding right there. Looking nice. The main part is a nice cylinder with some ribbon on there. Looking pretty cool. And that's the same for this side, so we're only going to cover one engine. For the interior, again, flat with some molding. And molding on the back. You can see right there above my nail. Pretty cool. For the ventral section, you can see flat. And then some molding. And right on the back as well. Pretty cool. Now the engine itself, as you can see right here, is beautifully done. Look at that, painted, recessed in. Fantastic. They didn't even need to do that amount of detail, but I'm glad they did. Now right here, they had these little tiny details that look like teeth. I did not even know they had that on here until I zoomed in. Just beautiful for the steering section. This piece right here. That is nice. If I turn it this way, you can see all the little fins or teeth. They sort of pop out right there. That is awesome. Now, technically, I would have went all the way through and just did the detailing all throughout that section. But this is more than I would have thought Hot Wheels would have gave us. I'm very impressed with this right here. Nice. You can see on this side as well. Bravo. Nicely done. For the aft section, you can see the beautiful detail in here. Very accurate to all the other miniatures for the film. pretty cool. I like this quite a bit. They did an excellent job with this. Even on top and back of the cockpit is molded. Nice. Okay, so let's take a look at the main body now. We'll start in the aft and work our way to the forward. Here's the ventral section, or bottom. You can see some beautiful detail in here. A rivet, peg port for the stand, panel for the hyperdrive generators, copyright crap, another rivet, and just the amount of detailing on here is fantastic. It's such a small ship too, so the amount of detailing they did pack in here is very cool. Another rivet coming to the top, another rivet. Nice. Now for the sides, right here we have our torpedo launcher. Usually these fire concussion missiles, but you know, whatever. On the bottom, we have our laser cannon, and on the top, our laser sight. And just look how detailed that is. Really cool. We can start at the bottom. You can see a little line work, just a miniature amount. And then we have some doodads and pipes on there. The back is molded, which is nice. And then as we wrap around, you can see it's molded all the way. So pretty cool. For the front of that, no barrels like the interior recessed in, but it looks cool nonetheless. Fantastic. Now it's the same for this side. And we have our launcher, the detailing, seam line, and then our laser cannon. A little flash there from the mold. But you could just cut that off with a razor. No biggie. Looking at the top of the ship. A little heavy with the paint right there. But I'm zoomed in quite a bit. So I didn't even notice that until I zoomed in. But amazing work here. And look at the cockpit. Yes, the glass, well, you know, the cockpit window is sunken in below where the supports are that are silver. And I love that. That is great attention to detail. That is great. Awesome stuff. And then we sort of taper down to the aft. And if you look real close, you can see all these little molded sections that are sort of raised up. You can see them right there. It's pretty cool. And then we have our sides. All detailed. And I love the curve. Just a beautiful ship. Really nice. Very detailed as well. And I love the look at that. Look at that ship. See if I can get it just on the sides. Fantastic looking. Such a great mold. So let me look at the back real quick. And yes, the sections right here are also molded. Wow. Such a great piece. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is a great ship. My God, they did a great job on here. Nice. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. So let's get this bad boy on a stand, look at the paint and other dimensions, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. Alright, looking at the stand for the A-Wing Starfighter, this bad boy looks really good. I love the glossy black. We have the Rebel insignia, the title, A-Wing. Then we have Star Wars and Hot Wheels, and on the bottom, tons of copyright crap. So we have our base plate, then you have another part, which is the pylon. Connect them like so, hear that snap. And just like that, you're good to go. So you have the ball right here. And on the bottom of our vessel, we have the little socket. Place them on like so. And then you can move it around if you would like. Get some different posing options. That's kind of cool. And then get it as straight as you can. And nice. And for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starship Select A-Wing seen in the center, I have some other Starships Select vehicles. First, on the left-hand side, we have the Y-Wing Starfighter, looking good. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have the X-Wing Starfighter. These are some great-looking ships, and if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of them, check the links in the description below. Alright, looking at the paint on this bad boy, we have about 8 different colors. White, maroon, silver, black, gray, glossy black, metallic American bronze, and a nice wash. The cool thing about the paint is that it has that little printed addition to it, but if you don't zoom in, you'll just think they just sprayed it on or something. It's quite intriguing. For the ship's size, it comes in at 3.24 inches or 82.40 millimeters long. For the ship's weight, it comes in at 2.55 ounces or 72.31 grams. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select A-Wing Fighter. This is number 19 in set and released in 2023. I think Hot Wheels hit the ball right out of the park with this again. You know, they have a lot of wins lately with this line, I'm not going to lie. I love the line work, the curves, the Event Horizon engines, those laser cannons and the laser sights. Fantastic. I think they did amazing with this piece. Talking about the paint, we have 8 different colors working together. It's a solid entry into the Hot Wheels line and a beautiful ship to have in the collection. Now the ship also comes with a stand, which makes it look fantastic, especially next to the rest of the collection. The stands, not a fan of the ball joints, but they do the job well, and they unify the whole line, and it's very collector friendly, and I love it for that. And that's everything I have to say about this cool looking ship today. If you guys enjoyed that video, smash that like button. And as always, and I truly mean this, everybody, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.